In this next example, we're going to look at two functions f and g that are defined by graphs instead of by formulas. And we will still evaluate a sum and a difference of those two functions just for one particular input at a time. Using the basic formulas for adding and subtracting functions, we can see that f plus g of any input x is equal to f of that input plus g of that input. It also works to apply just a single input like 2 to these functions. So f plus g of 2 we can calculate by finding f of 2 and g of 2 and adding those two results together. In order to find f of 2, I'm going to start at x equals 2 and trace over to the function f, where I find this point with coordinates 2, negative 1. So that tells me that f of 2 is equal to negative 1. In order to find g of 2, I'm going to trace over to the graph of g instead of the graph of f from that same input 2. And here I get the point 2, 3, which tells me that g of 2 is equal to 3. Plugging both of these into my expression over here, I get negative 1 for f of 2, followed by a plus, because that's what we're doing with these two functions, followed by the number 3, which is the value we found for g of 2, and when I add these together, I get simply 2, negative 1 plus 3. So I'm going to do the same thing now for f minus g of 3, this time finding f of 3 minus g of 3. So starting at x equals 3, I trace first to the graph of f, and I find the ordered pair 3, negative 2. So I see that f of 3 is equal to negative 2. And then doing the same for g, I can see the point 3, positive 2, and therefore g of 3 is equal to positive 2. This time, plugging both of these expressions in, negative 2, I now have the minus sign from the fact that I am subtracting functions. And in place of g of 3, I'm going to put just the number 2. Negative 2 minus 2, because these both go in the same direction on the number line, they add together to give me a negative 4 overall.